just wanted to show you guys, I've been experimenting these last few weeks with smothered pork chops. So, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I got a nice pair of fairly thick pork chops. And I was just like, I don't know how to cook these. So I'm just going to brown them up, put a little seasoning on them, and use a can of mushroom soup, and throw in some extra, actually this first one I didn't throw in extra mushrooms. So the second one, couldn't find pork chops. So I had country style ribs, which is basically just like the rib end of the butt sliced, and they were okay. I cooked those a little longer. I cooked those like you would cook barbecued pork, slow and low until it hit like 205 to make it tender. There was a lot of connective tissue and so forth. These, however, back to the nice pork chops. As you can see, they're very thick. They're easily 1.5 inches thick, maybe 2. I just wanted to show you how beautifully they browned up, though. I used lard as the oil in the pan, and I didn't touch them. I set them at 7 or a little under 7 on my stove. Between 7 and 8 is where you get the browning. And I dry brined these overnight with a lot of kosher salt on all sides, and then the 2 big sides I put black pepper. What else did I put? Hot pepper, cayenne. I put thyme that I kind of like pinched between my fingers and ground it as fine as I could, and Coleman's mustard powder, and then some granulated garlic. And I let them. I did both the big sides, and I let them, dry brine overnight. But I just was very impressed about how evenly and nicely they browned up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this whole pan in a 350 oven in a minute or so, once I check the other side of these chops to see how they browned out. And I'm going to cook them until they get to be, 145, 150 degrees, and then I'm going to put them back in the pan with some pre-sauteed hen of the woods mushrooms that I have from my farmer's market last week, and can of soup, a little bit of water, some Worcestershire sauce, maybe a spoonful of Dijon mustard, and then we'll see what else, what other goodies I can put in there. But I'm hoping for it to turn out pretty good. But I just wanted to show you how beautifully brown they are. Very nice. I finished browning them on both sides, and I just threw them in the oven as they are. I'm not going to braise them, just going to kind of bake them. And they look pretty good. I'm going to let them get to where they're, like I said, maybe 145, 140 inside. And once they reach that point, I'll take them out and finish them with the sauce. And then they'll be done. Okay, folks, so it didn't even take 15 minutes. It took maybe 12 or 13 minutes to get these up to about 140, 145 degrees. And as you can see, they're beautifully browned. I wish I had good outdoor light. Today it's raining and it's just as blue outside as it is inside. I'm sorry about the lighting, but I wanted to give you a close-up of how beautifully browned and crusted these are here. Tastes good. And next step is to make the smother for the smothered pork chops. Okay, folks, so the next step here is I gotta warm up these previously sauteed maitake or hen of the woods mushrooms. These had salt and I think a little thyme on them, and maybe a little black pepper. But these are left over from an earlier, much larger purchase, but this is enough for these 2 pork chops. I got these at my farmer's market. Got a really good mushroom supplier, so they pick them like that day or the night prior, and they have a lot of varieties that you just don't find in the supermarket. So last week I got 2 bags of maitake. These are maitake or hen of the woods. and one bag of shiitake, and I, kind of ate them throughout the week. And I had the shiitake mushrooms with a beautiful grass-fed skirt steak and some homemade chimichurri sauce. Wish I had made a video on that. Anyway, this is what's left, and this is enough for this. So to this, I'm going to add the can of mushroom soup, probably 2/3 or a full can of water, some Worcestershire sauce, some Dijon mustard, maybe a little more thyme, maybe some more black pepper. Definitely no more salt because there's plenty here already. Everything's well seasoned. And then I'll show you at the end what we come up with. Okay, folks, here's the outcome. I know smothered is smothered and these don't really look smothered, but I just couldn't bear to completely cover up all that beautiful browning. They just look so nice. And I wanted to give you an idea of what those maitake mushrooms look like and see the brown pork. So I'm going to let these sit and kind of, the heat's on medium right now. I may turn it down to like 3 or 4. Just kind of let them sit and do their thing for a little while. And then, they will be completely, I'll flip them over and get them completely submerged in the sauce. But it tastes pretty good. I got, like I said, I got my, oh yeah, that Dijon adds like it's not tang, but a little bit of tang. So what I ended up doing was, I deglazed the bottom of the pan with maybe, I don't know, I didn't measure it because I hadn't opened the soup can yet. If I had to guess, I would say half a soup can full of water out of the kettle. Scraped it up, scraped up the bottom as best I could, with the heat under it. And then added the, with the pork chops out, of course, added the mushroom soup. And I discovered I had a little bit of heavy cream in the fridge, so I ordered half a can of that and maybe another half a can of water. And now you can see it's starting to kind of come to bubble a little bit, and it's got to kind of do that a little bit to really be right. But a good shake of Lee & Perrins Worcestershire sauce, because that's the only, in my opinion, I'm not normally a brand snob. I have spices and seasonings of all different types and all different brands, but I found that flavor is my guide, and Lee & Perrins really is the only Worcestershire sauce I really like, so that's what I use. I can go cheaper, and sometimes when I'm making barbecue sauce or something, I'll cheap out and I'll use something like Heinz. It's a third of the cost or whatever, but in general, all I ever really do is just use the Lee & Perrins. So a few good duty shakes in there, poured the juices that had drained out of the pork chops back into the mix, and I'm going to just let this kind of warm up a little bit. And if the cover will actually fit, what I'm probably going to do is I'm just going to give it one last stir, coat the pork chops, cover it, turn the heat off, and just let it sit for a while. And these can sit for a good while before they get to an unsafe temperature on the stove. And I'm not at lunch yet, but I'm nearing lunch, and this is going to be my lunch. So I'll let them go a little while longer, maybe 5-10 minutes, then turn the heat off, cover them, and let them sit until lunch. And that's what I've got so far. So try this out, and I'll put the the ingredients and the recipe and everything in the comments below. All right, folks, I'm ready to sit down and eat my lunch, and I just wanted to show you how beautiful and tender that pork looks. You can tell in here it's a little on the pink side, but it's done. It's cooked, and I have some nice big pieces of mushroom here, and that sauce with the mustard in it. Mustard and mushrooms go really well together, and the heavy cream and everything, it's just got like a really, oh man, it's just delicious flavor. So very pleased with this. About ready to dig into the small one. The big one's going to make 2 meals, so out of these 2 pork chops I'll get 3 meals. Yum!